So you're on the keto diet and you're not sure. What are the healthiest keto approved nuts out there? In this video, I'm gonna reveal to you the top 5 keto nuts and the worst ones out there that you wanna avoid if you're looking to get amazing results with your keto diet. What's up guys, my name is Ben Azadi. I am a certified functional health practitioner and I'm on a mission to educate 1 billion people. I'm grateful that you're spending part of your day with me today. There are 5 specific nuts out there that you could have on the keto diet pretty much all the time and still remain in ketosis, feel satiated, and these 5 nuts taste delicious. And then we have the ones out there that create havoc with your digestive system, knocks you out of keto, has fungus, has mold. Those are the worst offenders, and I'm gonna show you the worst ones out there as well. So in a nutshell, pun intended, this is what I'm gonna present to you today. I'm gonna show you the #1 keto approved nut that nobody's talking about, and you probably never even heard of this nut unless you're following guys like Thomas Lauer and Eric Berg. This one is delicious. It's the highest fat, lowest carb nut out there. It's one of the least popular ones, and I'm gonna show you why this should be the #1 go-to keto approved nut. I'm gonna show you 3 specific nuts you wanna avoid at all cost on the keto diet, and I'm going to give you some simple tips to follow when you're at your grocery store or you're buying nuts online that will yield you healthier results with your keto diet. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Keto considerations. When you're buying nuts, let's say you're at Whole Foods or at your natural health food store, there's going to be an option where they have bulk bins where you scoop out the nuts. So the ones I'm going to show you, the 5 healthy nuts, make sure you're not buying these from the bulk bin. They're usually oxidized because they've been introduced to more oxygen. They have mold growing in there, and people put their hands in those bins, and you're not sure what's on people's hands nowadays. So you want to make sure it's never from a bulk bin, it's always from a sealed pack. Additionally, you want to look at the ingredients when you're buying your nuts. Make sure it does not include vegetable oil. So you want to avoid cottonseed oil, soybean oil, safflower oil, canola oil, and sunflower oil. Those are the top 5 you want to look out for and avoid when you're buying your nuts if they happen to include vegetable oil with them. And then you also want to make sure you're buying raw, organic, and staying away from roasted nuts. Unless you roast it yourself at a low temperature, chances are when you buy roasted nuts, they roast them at a high temperature and it produces actually a chemical compound that's a carcinogen in the human body. So the nut oxidizes even further. We eat it and it creates inflammation within our body. So if you go raw, if you go organic, that is your best bet. Also, I want to mention that when it's roasted, it loses a lot of its nutrients, a lot of its antioxidants, and a lot of the benefits I'm about to show you. So these are your keto considerations. Follow this with the nuts I'm about to show you. All right, #5, I'm putting this in order of my favorite. So #5 is my 5th favorite nut on the keto diet, which is pecans. I love pecans, they taste great. They are actually the 2nd highest fat content and the 2nd lowest protein and carbohydrate content of nuts out there. It's loaded with antioxidant power. Vitamin E, lutein, and zeaxanthin, these have been shown in studies to reduce your risk of cancer. So it's great, packed with antioxidants. It's also loaded with something called oleic acid. So if you're somebody who struggles with weight loss, this is a great way to actually maintain weight loss and keep it going. Oleic acid is a great compound. And then lastly, pecans have high amounts of something called thiamine. Thiamine is important for the adrenals, for your stress levels, and it's also been shown to help with your heart, muscles, and your nervous system. Next on my list are walnuts. Have you ever noticed that walnuts look like tiny little brains? And guess what they're good for? The brain function and cognition. It's interesting how Mother Nature designed it that way. So studies also show that walnuts, get this, slow down the tumor growth in animals. That's powerful right there because 1 out of 3 people get cancer in their lifetime. So if you know somebody who has cancer, it will not hurt them to have some walnuts. Walnuts increase beneficial bacteria in the gut. And that's important because we want to have a healthy balance of good guys versus bad guys. Most people have too much bad bacteria overpopulating their gut because they're taking Advil, they're taking Tylenol, they're taking all these anti-inflammatory over-the-counter drugs, and that destroys our gut bacteria. So just keep in mind that when you are taking something like that, yes, it's going to get rid of a lot of the bad guys when you take over-the-counter drugs like that. However, you also get rid of all the good guys. That's like dropping a nuke in a city where there's there's some bad guys you want to take care of, but it's a city full of good guys and you just drop a nuke and take everybody out. We don't want that. We want to actually introduce beneficial bacteria via walnuts because it helps you do that. That's like the Navy SEAL going into this town and just taking out the bad guys, and it's going to become overpopulated with good bacteria, with the good guys. So walnuts have been shown to give you more beneficial bacteria without any of the side effects. 90% of the phenols, the antioxidants, the power nutrients in the walnut is found in the skin. So when you're looking at it, you're looking at that luscious skin, know that there's good things in there. Number 3, Brazil nuts. I love Brazil nuts. They get a bad rap because they have higher calories. One nut, I think, has about 70 to 100 calories. Calories don't matter. These nuts are loaded with nutrients. It's a great source of selenium. Most people, they're deficient in selenium. And selenium is important for many processes in the body. Number 1, thyroid health. It helps the conversion of thyroid T4, which is the inactive form of thyroid, cannot be used by the cell. It helps convert it to the active form of T3, which gets into your cell, helps you produce energy, helps you burn fat, and helps you feel good. So selenium makes that conversion, and most people are deficient in selenium. Brazil nuts have a high amount of selenium. Also, testosterone. It helps the production of testosterone. So fellas, if you want to have better workouts, more energy, better sleep, and fat loss, you want to have a boost in testosterone, you throw in some Brazil nuts. Selenium is also critical for the production of something called glutathione. Glutathione is a master antioxidant, helps deliver detox the body, and we want this functioning at a very efficient level. Selenium helps it function at an efficient level. Brazil nuts also help to improve skin elasticity. So if you have acne problems, if you have loose skin problems, Brazil nuts, the selenium and the nutrients in the Brazil nuts help with this problem, which I just mentioned because it helps stimulate healthy production of glutathione, which helps detox the body. A lot of the time when people are having acne issues, it's because their body's not able to detox properly. So glutathione production from Brazil nuts helps with this. Next, it helps to regulate blood pressure because it has high amounts of calcium, magnesium, and potassium. Somebody who has high blood pressure usually has high insulin problems. This goes hand in hand with that. So as you're getting keto adapted, you're on the keto diet, you're going to definitely improve your insulin sensitivity and your blood sugar. That include Brazil nuts, include all these nutrients with the Brazil nuts, and you're going to have even more results. All right, number 2, we're down to the final 2. Number 1 is my favorite. You heard about macadamia nuts, you're probably having on the keto diet. I'm going to explain why you should continue having it. It has high amounts of flavonoids, which we know it protects us from environmental toxins. There are toxins everywhere. The perfume and cologne you're spraying on yourself, the cleaning products you're spraying in your house, car fumes, drinking water, silver fillings. I mean, there's toxins everywhere. So what happens is when we eat macadamia nuts, the flavonoids help us detox from this environment. It also helps nourish the brain, macadamia nuts do, because it has high amounts of copper, vitamin B1, manganese, and magnesium, all critical on the keto diet because you lose a lot of minerals with the keto diet. This reintroduces them back into the diet. A handful of macadamia nuts, if you feel hungry and you're transitioning from being a sugar burner to a fat burner with the keto diet, you might get some sugar cravings. So grab a handful of nuts. It's going to really satiate you and put that hunger at bay. That's why I love macadamia nuts. Okay, are you ready for the number 1 keto nut that nobody has heard of? I think you are. Pili Nuts. These are badass nuts right here. The highest fat content, lowest carbohydrate content for nuts in the world, okay? This is number 1 right here. It only grows in rich, fertile soil, fertile volcanic soil. What does that mean? Why is that important? Because it's rich, loaded with nutrients. This soil is loaded with nutrients. It's easy to digest. It tastes delicious. It's kind of like a blend between a cashew and a macadamia in terms of the way it tastes. It's grown in a hard shell, so it's protected from pesticides, which is a huge problem because pesticides open up our tight junctions and create leaky gut. So the fact that it's grown in a hard shell protects us from any risk of pesticides being sprayed on it. Usually grown in Southeast Asia, Philippines. So we're actually supporting those local farmers. They're grown on a 20-foot tree. They do it right. It's sustainable. So just know when you're supporting Pili Nuts, you're supporting local farmers who are doing it the right way. So I get my Pili Nuts from Thrive Market. They have Pili nut butter. They have different blends of these Pili nuts, and they're gonna become more popular in the keto space. So keep your eye on it. Add that to your list. That should be your number one. Now, I just gave you my top 5. I'm gonna show you the worst nuts out there that you wanna avoid with your keto diet. The worst offender out there, cashews. Did you know cashews are actually a fruit? They are very hard to digest. The way they are manufactured, it's usually forced labor that produces these cashews in these countries. So if you look at that, you look at the fact that it's hard to digest, it creates digestive distress. Yeah, they taste good, but is it worth it? I don't think so. So I would avoid that as much as possible. Peanuts as well. Look, I love peanut butter and I love peanuts. I could go through a jar like that. However, a lot of the peanuts out there, the peanut butters, it has mold growing on it, mycotoxins. And guess what? It's hard to digest. Most people can't digest peanuts, or they have some sort of sensitivity to it. So you're gonna notice getting rid of the peanuts and the cashews, it's gonna reduce your inflammation so your fat burning hormones could actually do its job and get into the cell. The last thing on here are almonds. Almonds have something in it called phytic acid, which binds a lot of the minerals from your diet and it renders it useless. So here, it's important when you're in a keto diet, you're losing a lot of minerals because you're burning down your sugar reserves. So if you're having a lot of almond butter and almonds as you are in the keto diet, you're losing a lot of these precious minerals because this acts as a catcher's mitt to kind of like a magnet for all those minerals. So we don't want that. So these are the top 3 offenders I would avoid or reduce as much as possible. Stick with the healthy ones. If you want to learn more about keto, healthy carbs on the keto diet, yes, you could have some healthy carbs, healthy fats, healthy proteins versus the bad ones. I want you to get my book. It's called the Keto Kickstart Guide. If you go to ketokickstartguide.com, you could get that book for free. Learn about my 4-pillar approach to perfect health and metabolic flexibility. I want to thank you for spending part of your day with me today. If this video was helpful to you, please hit the like button, share it with a friend on the keto diet, and if you haven't done so already, what are you waiting for? Subscribe to this channel. I release videos just about every other day. Hit the bell so you're notified when I go live, when I have a new video, and I do a lot of coaching sessions on my YouTube lives as well. So I want to thank you again. Have yourself a healthy rest of your day.